but are you guys okay with that?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay, cool. So Mike wants to know, what does the design process look like? Do you use whiteboards, mind mapping tools, etc.? So let's dig into some specifics. What does it look like when you're doing some user experience design? You know, is that
Sure.
pencil paper or?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we try to stay kind of tool agnostic. So I think you'll see every designer has their preference on what tools they want to use. But basically our process starts with a discovery phase where we do research. So that's when we go to the field and collect all this information. And then you typically see us trying to.
Yeah, let's just stop right there. And I sorry to interrupt, but
No, you're
this
fine.
is the part we always blow over this part, right? It's like I go do my audience analysis, and then I go and I start developing. And it's like, wait, how do you do that? So when you say we go out and we look at our audience, like what's the tactical stuff?
So this is what surprised me as an instructional designer. So he went out with his team. Like, he had the support of his manager, his teammates. He even brought an engineer. That was awesome. They're all working on this project, and they all go and observe. They all sit with the learners, the agent, and the users, and just see how they are. And then I saw he created this document where they all work together on it. And then did you call it like user stories or something, where you just voice out what you think they're thinking of, and then everyone collaborates it together?
Yeah. So yeah, and I think so that was one example where we're working on this project called Agent Home, where we're building this larger platform. Mm-hmm. So what we did is we took all of these observations and we collected them into user stories. So as a sales specialist, I need access to supplier information to answer a customer question on delivery day, right? So there could be really specific examples like that. And what we did is we worked with our engineering lead and collaborated on making that a giant list of everything that we noticed. And then now when we come back to the office, what we do is we start attaching priority to this. So based on the volume that we heard, based on the urgency of it, we attach a priority, and that's how we figure out what to tackle. Because I think every time we go to the field, we get so many pieces of feedback and so many insights that it's hard to figure out what to work on next. So yeah, that's a really good way to figure out what to work on next. We have a user researcher who's a part of our team who will help us digest a lot of this information a lot better, because that's what she's really excellent at. And I think what we found helpful in the past with user research is trying to notice overarching patterns and come up with frameworks too.
And so that document he had in itself is like learning objectives, right? Like, these are the problems.
I was just going to say, there's got to be a way to tie it in.
Team of the managers, directors, the engineers, that like multiple people, like 6 people just coming, 4 or 5 people, I don't remember, just coming on and just doing all these learner observations. They're creating this artifact, which is like amazing for me to see, because I get to see where is the learning that's not happening. They saying they're having this issue. We have training on that issue. We're suggesting our managers should be coaching on this issue, but obviously they're not. So there's already a gap there. So maybe the UX team thinks, oh, we don't have it, but there is something there. There is a gap. There are supports for it. They don't think that anything exists. So there's something in between that. That in itself is an amazing tool to develop, know where our training should really go, because it's from before. And also, their research team, when they go and do research, they come back and have calls just to kind of share what they found out on the field, which is a gold mine for me in instructional design, to hear what, problems they're hearing, what things are they seeing. It helps me know, like, is the training working? Is it not working? What areas I need to focus in more? And also helps me think more of like that UX side as well, to how they're thinking about the agents in a different way. Like, instead of, and obviously we do projects with like business priority stuff though, but just really seeing what the evidence shows. And so that in itself was a gold mine, and also just a unique way to approach how I design out projects, how I can draw out learning objectives and all that other stuff. So.
Yeah, I would sense that like an interesting way to work through some of this stuff. You were mentioning, Kyle, priorities, and I could, just from my own personal experience and being on software development teams, enterprise teams and whatnot, I could see that list. Like when you're going out there and getting that list, now you're trying to prioritize it. Having the learning team in there might be interesting too, because there may be something that's a really low priority, but yet maybe in order to solve it is high technical resources required. Right. So you guys put it down at the bottom, but the training team can look at it and go, well, in the meantime, until they can get to it, it really wouldn't take that much extra for us to re-promote the training that already exists in that particular area, or, you know, somehow, or maybe like you were saying, Tatawan, that it is a gap that, oh my gosh, we don't even have any training on that. So maybe you do a little small, you know, 60